thing I would like to ask you the most is about this stone mill.
The stone mill.
Why you chose?
This is a good question, thank you, because it gives me the opportunity to explain the choice and the differences that the stone mill brings to olive oil when you produce it in this way. Until the mid-60s, late 60s, there was an olive press in the farm, which was the only one, the only type existing at that period, which was a traditional olive press, meaning that it had a stone mill and it also had actual presses that were pressing the paste, the olive paste, to extract, to get the olive oil out. This olive press was ruined, abandoned and ruined. So when I took over the farm, there was only ruins of this olive press. Gradually, when I started thinking about creating again a new olive press, I started to research to see what kind of press I would prefer to make here at the farm, and always focusing on quality and not quantity. So we wanted to have an olive press that would be quality orientated, making very good quality olive oil, even if it took more time or more, or if it cost more. After researching, we decided to do the traditional press, which is actually using presses and not the modern system which is nowadays used in the big majority of olive oil production, which is the centrifugal separation system. And why did we decide to do the stone mill and the pressing system? Because even though it is slower, which means it is less productive, even though it needs more manpower to be operated, if you are very careful and very and you do a very good cleaning of all the machinery during the period of production, you will have a very good quality olive oil produced, and this oil will also have specific sensory properties. It will have a different taste than the oils produced with the modern system. And this difference in the taste is mainly because of the stone mill. What does the stone mill do? It crushes the olives without actually cutting the skin of the fruit. This kind of crushing gives the oil the opportunity to be less bitter. The bitter compounds in the fruit of olive oil are in the skin. So if you don't cut the skin, you are not releasing so much bitterness into the oil. This results to producing an olive oil that is very mild bitter, almost sweet. And this is very pleasant for the consumer, as it is an oil that is of very good quality, but it will not dominate the food. It will pair nicely with the food without dominating. This means that you can eat more.
Yeah.
And as we know, the more olive oil you eat, the better health you have. So this combination was for us very important. The modern system, which is not using the stone mill, they are using crushing systems that are actually cutting the skin. So the fresh oil produced with a modern olive press is intensely bitter and occasionally unpleasantly bitter for the consumer. So for us the stone mill is like the sweetener of our oil. Yes.
Yeah, I remember your son told that you pour everything.
Yes. To tell you a story about this, when they started replacing the traditional stone mills with the modern systems in Greece, and I imagine in other countries also, this occurred in the in the 70s and early 80s. So there was a big replacement of the traditional system with the modern. And the first years when people made olive oil with the modern method, they would not eat the fresh olive oil because they found it extremely bitter.
Yeah.
So what they did is they kept it and used it the next year. So they were actually not using the fresh olive oil so much as they waited for the bitterness to drop in order to become more pleasant and eat. Because from them, imagine that they were used to eating olive oil coming from presses with stone mills, so mild bitter. And then they changed the system to the modern way of production, and oils became intensely bitter. This was a huge change in the taste, and people did not like this, and they stopped. So they started using the fresh oil 1 year later. With our method now and this way of production, you can just use the fresh olive oil. Let me give you an example. We have a lot of schools coming here to experience the way we produce olive oil. So each time we have a school, of course, we will go to the production area and to get a bowl with olive oil, and then we take bread, and the kids will dig the bread in the olive oil and taste the olive oil. The kids are excited because they are tasting an olive oil that is almost sweet. So they always ask for second bread, third bread. We want more, and it's funny because the teachers say, "No, you don't have a second." And I say, "It's okay, they can have." And the kids, they say, "This is a sweet olive oil," and it's a surprise for them.
Yeah, kids' reaction is so direct.
Yeah, it's funny because it's unexpected. It's a surprise for them.
Yeah.